Yeah, look at that. The help came out of nowhere, really, right? This is a movie with Emma Stone, who has been literally all over the place lately. The beauty of this movie, I think, is number one, it has the following of the book that was made, and then it's Emma Stone. Emma Stone's been all over the place, and literally when she's in a scene, she steals every single scene that she's in. And this movie seems to be one of those that needed the help of a little bit of word of mouth, spread the word through the word of mouth. It took a few weeks to overtake Planet of the Apes. So now, I mean, it's finally number one. They finally made a good Planet of the Apes movie. That was number one for a few weeks. That fell down to number two. And then, of course, Spy Kids, that's always going to be big with the kids. Any children's movie is going to do very well. And then on the other side, we have some box office bombs, Conan the Barbarian. Anytime you lead in with somebody named Jason Momoa, that's generally not going to do well, at least for right now. We'll see how that goes. But it was more so of a grunting, "Ooh, I am man" movie that just didn't do very well. Fright Night remake with Colin Farrell. We'll excuse him this time for doing this type of a movie. The economy is rough, man. And Final Destination, when are they going to keep their word and say this is the final destination? Scott, my partner on the website, he's always saying that Hollywood has run out of ideas. And when you get these type of movies that are really remakes, and this is the fifth installment of Final Destination, I think he's right. It's difficult to come up with new ideas that are going to pull people in and really suck them in and bring in huge amounts of money.
ABC Local Radio overnight. It's 25 past 3, 25 past 1 if you're listening in Western Australia. Our guest this morning doing Hollywood talk is Steve Reese. He's actually coming to us from Florida, where he's located, and he's at cinesportstalk.com. Now, we just mentioned Emma Stone, who you said is doing very well at the moment, and she's in The Help, where she steals every scene. But there's been Jim Carrey. He's very much into Emma Stone too.
So here's this older man making a weird little video about a younger woman, saying what would happen if he was a little younger. Yeah, it's a little creepy, I guess. But on my end, I don't find anything that Jim Carrey does creepy. I just laugh hysterically at everything he does. He turns it into something that's comedic. He can turn anything into something that's funny. Especially funny when he's talking about how he's got lines all over his face. He's got gray in his beard. And Emma Stone, obviously, she's a great comedian as well. She's funny, and she took nothing of it as creepy. The creepy part, I think, is what Kathy Griffin did about Justin Bieber. Have you seen that one?
No. Tell us all about it.
Well, she did pretty much the same thing as Jim Carrey did, but about Justin Bieber. And I, for one, am sick and tired of Bieber mania, or whatever it's called these days. But she did the same exact thing, same exact dialogue, where she talks about her beard being gray, and she talks about the same exact thing that Jim Carrey did. But I found that to be a little bit more creepy, with this, a little bit older woman talking about this teenage, teen heartthrob. Me personally, I just wish Bieber mania would go away already.
Now, let's talk about love news. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, will they or will they not have something to dedicate to the Museum of Broken Relationships?
Well, you know how rumors go in Hollywood. This one is, whenever you thought about Will Smith, you thought about that relationship is going to be perfect, long-lasting, never going to end, and then comes the news of a split. Now, they both denied it. Obviously, this is Hollywood, but with every rumor, there's a bit of truth to it. So I'm sure, it's hard enough to maintain a relationship outside of Hollywood. Imagine having to maintain a relationship inside of Hollywood, pictures taken every moment, quotes being written about you, some true, some false. But it's just a gut feeling that these two are going to stick it out and stick together, because it just looked from the very beginning that out of all the all the relationships in Hollywood, this one would be the one to last.
I have to say, every week I see magazine covers saying that Brad and Angelina have finally got divorced. Are they still
Right,
together,
exactly.
or what's going on there?
Well, they're still together. You know, one week they say that they're getting divorced. Next week they're getting married and having a child. No more adoption. So, you know, it's at the point of the summer where, you know, it's really scraping the bottom of the barrel where it comes to these headlines, because, you know, all the big blockbuster movies are out and done with. So now everybody in Hollywood needs to, you know, start scraping the bottom of the barrel, looking for things to talk about. You know, I really don't think that things are over there. You know, one day one person's cheating, the next day Angelina is going this way. But you know, they keep it together for the good of the press, I guess.
Now, huge news coming out of the States this week, which people all over the world were interested in, was Steve Jobs quitting as chief executive of Apple. How much reaction has there been to that story in the States?
Huge. Geez, the Dow Jones took a hit on that. I mean, about a month ago, it was announced that Apple has more money than the United States government, which was was a shock in itself. Can you imagine that?
But perhaps not that surprising, given the state of American finances, as we hear.
Right. We're in a little bit of a lull over here. So the news that he's stepping down. I mean, he's still going to be in the company, maintaining a position on the board. But everybody you can imagine who has a share of stock within Apple just took a step back. Steve Jobs has done a tremendous amount of work with Apple. Every 6 months we have a new iPhone coming out, right? Everybody invests $500-600 on the iPhone. 6 months later you got to upgrade to get to the next one. So Apple literally has more money than the United States government, and when the leader of that type of corporation and you have all these investors, people get scared. And I think it's a natural reaction, but I think it'll sustain over, get better over time. It's just the initial shock of it all.
And no one's really clear, are they, exactly how parlous Steve Jobs' health is at the moment?
Well, I mean, there's different reports, but I guess health would be the way to look at this moment. Obviously there's got to be a lot of pressure on the guy. He's billions and billions of dollars, and then not to harp on it, but again, they got more money than the United States government. That's got to be pressure in itself. And to maintain the Apple brand in itself is just a lot of pressure. With Android is out there, competition, all these other competitors to the iPad, HP and Android and all the rest. So it's got to be a lot of pressure, and maybe you just need some time to take a step back.
He certainly hasn't looked that well in the last pictures that we've seen, certainly looking very thin in that battle with pancreatic cancer. So I guess everyone would hope that he's going to help him with his health. Now, the question I want to know is if in 10 or 15 years' time, maybe I head over to Hollywood, I'm walking down the Hall of Fame, or I'm looking at the stars on the boardwalk, am I ever going to see Kim Kardashian's name there?
Absolutely not. I think it's ridiculous to think that Kim Kardashian or even more ridiculous, Snooki, would have a star on the Walk of Fame. You might as well give me a star on the Walk of Fame. But they're not actors, they're not actresses. They run into some interesting things every now and then, and that's the reason why they're famous. And they built upon maybe a flash in the pan moment, and they built different perfumes and these types of things on the Kim Kardashian side. Snooki, I don't know if you saw, but she was just a part of WWE's WrestleMania. So they certainly know how to take advantage of this bit of fame that they're getting, but absolutely not eligible for a star on the Walk of Fame.
So someone actually asked what I think the Hollywood Walk of Fame this week, could that be a possibility? And what the answer was a resounding no, never, not over my dead body sort of stuff.
No, absolutely not. It would be a sham, to all the big stars that are on there. I mean, Kermit the Frog has a star. and he deserves it much more than Kim Kardashian or Snooki.
Hey, Steve, we'll have to wrap up. But look, thank you so much for chatting with us this morning. It's been lovely catching up with you from Florida.
Hey, same here. We really appreciate you having us on down there in Australia.
No worries. We'll probably talk again. Thanks, Steve. Steve Faris, who is from cinesportstalk.com, based in Florida.